Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. I'm Martin and today we're watching Full Metal Jacket. So I'm a fairly recent convert, I don't think that's the right word exactly, because I've always known about Stanley Kubrick's work through Reputation for a long time, but it's only recently that I've really got into his films. I'd seen The Shining many years ago and I loved it and continued to watch it, but it's only recently that I went back and watched 2001 and A Space Baby. Love A Space Baby. That's about it. I think I have some vague memories of Clockwork Orange as well, but I can't really remember what the whole film was. The only bit I really remember is the old which is, you know, I think that's a moment that sticks with everyone. But I think what we might do is, I feel like I'm going to sort of rotate out Kubrick films, because I feel like there are films that are designed to sort of sit with you for a bit. So I don't think it's worth me sort of binging through the ones I've not watched or just flat out can't remember. But we're going to start with Full Metal Jacket, which is this one, which is a movie I know very little about. I think of all of Stanley Kubrick's films, it's the one I know the least about. The only thing that sort of surprised me is looking at the box. I believe it is 2 hours long. It's kind of surprising because I was expecting it to be really long. But I am very interested in this. I know it's about the Vietnam War. I don't know what it sort of tackles with the Vietnam War. Like, Stanley Kubrick, to my mind, based on what I do know and what I have seen and will remember from his work, is war movie doesn't really come to mind when I think of his work. So I'm very interested to see his take on that and see how it goes. I'm sure it's going to be horrifying in some ways, and I'm sure he's probably got quite a sort of scathing opinion about war in general. So it's going to be interesting to see him explore that through his filmmaking, and we'll see what it's all about. I look forward to it. I know it's a classic, and I enjoy, the other two movies of his that I have watched, so that I remember fully. So I look forward to this. I feel this is going to be good, if not a bit depressing. So yeah, let's get into it, shall we? Full Metal Jacket. Okay. We're being... No, that's Vincent D'Onofrio, isn't it? I did not know he was in this. There he is. But we're being dropped right into this, it seems. Like, no build-up. Just straight into... We're signed up. Here's our rookies, as it were. I'm probably going to have to do this to my hair soon, and the thought of that is very depressing. But as you can, it's long and it's not looking good at the front in terms of thickness. So.
Well, there's one thing that you won't like, Private Snowball. They don't serve fried chicken and watermelon on a daily basis in my mess hall. Yes, sir.
That you, John Wayne? Is this me?
Oh, don't do this. Don't do this. Why would you? Why? This is intense, to say the least.
Sir, no, sir. You little piece you look like a...
Sir, I said it, sir.
He owned up to it. Well, I don't know if he's going to respect that or not.
Fucking comedian, private joker. I admire your honesty. Hell,
okay.
I like you. You can come over to my house and fuck my sister.
Yep. That's absolutely going to happen.
Then wipe that disgusting grin off your face.
Sir, yes, sir.
Well, any fucking time, sweetheart.
Oh my god.
Sir, I'm trying, sir.
Private Pile, I'm going to give you 3 seconds.
I get, you're just smiling because there's not, what else can you do?
Choke yourself. Now lean forward and choke yourself.
What is this teaching him? What is the lesson here?
What? Are you through grinning?
Sir, yes, sir.
Bullshit, I can't hear you.
Sir, yes, sir.
I get that the whole point of this whole part of boot camp, as it were, is to...
That's enough.
I mean, there's a moral aspect to this already. That is it right to take away people's humanity in a way in order to make them more efficient at their job? But I don't know. Already, that scene is fucking intense, but it's it's already setting up I believe, what I believe the idea is going to be. Like, this whole idea of just breaking people down to their base line and then to build them back up again. I mean, it's an interesting thing to explore in a film for sure, but we'll talk about it, I suppose, at the end. I imagine that's going to be a big discussion point when we come to the end of this. Oh no.
Sir, I don't know, sir. You are dumb, Private Paul, but do you expect me to believe that you don't know left from right? Sir, no, sir. Then you did that on purpose. You want to be different. Sir, no, sir. What
Oh
was that,
my
Private
god,
Pyle?
you can't do that shit.
Right, sir.
Surely.
Private Pyle. Sir, yes, sir. What side was that, Private Pyle? Sir, right side, sir. Don't fuck with me again, Pyle. Pick up your fucking cover. Sir, yes, sir.
Like, I mean, obviously this is set, I mean, a while ago, so I don't know. This is my problem. I don't know what is real and what's an exaggeration of this world. Oh god, what the fuck? Like, is this really effective? Is it? In terms of, like, getting these people to be soldiers? Is that really going to help? Almost like, it's almost like a form of brainwashing in its own way. What's fascinating here is that we're yet to really see any of these guys as individuals. Like, they are just like a unit of people being, I don't know what the right word is, reformed, I suppose, as whatever this drill sergeant wants them to be, really. So far, what's really interesting here is that it's in some ways so not like any other Kubrick's films that I've seen, but at the same time is. Oh god, don't mess up. Please don't mess up. I'm really worried about this guy. I'm so worried that something horrendous is going to happen to him because of all this. Like, I'm concerned that he's not even going to make it to the fight. That's where I'm at the moment. I mean, we seem to be focusing on Pyle quite a lot. But I'm also getting the feeling that he's not really the main character. It's just Kubrick is just projecting everything he wants to get across through the drill sergeant and Pyle. Motivate. That's a choice word, isn't it? At least this guy's helping him. Like, this guy's like really. Oh, this. I am so anxious about what is going to happen to Pyle. At least his other troops are like trying to help him best they can. But I am, honest to God, worried about where this is going with him.
I heard you correctly. Sir, the private said no, sir! Why, you little maggot! You make me want to vomit! You goddamn communist heathen! You
it's so...
that you love the Virgin Mary, or I'm gonna stomp your...
I mean, it's so interesting that he started off his speech saying he wasn't going to be discriminating against anyone, and yet that's all he's done. Come on, Pyle. You got this.
Boy.
There you go. You got it.
That's it. I just pull the next one over, and you're home free.
What I'm kind of loving so far is that all the soldiers are so, like, I can't really think of the right way of phrasing it, but so against what you'd kind of expect this kind of movie to maybe depict them as. You know, when you see these kind of movies, you know, like your jarheads of the world, like you kind of expect them to be like bros. But so far, they're all very relatable and kind, weirdly. But I kind of like that.
Real good, real good, real good, real good, real good,
You just get him to say whatever the fuck he wants. I can get you to say the most stupid shit and you have to do it.
Private Pyle has dishonored himself and dishonored the platoon.
Imagine them doing this at Weight Watchers.
But I have failed.
He has dishonored himself because he ate the jelly donut. Imagine that.
Whenever Private Pyle fucks up, I will not punish him. I will
God.
punish all of you. And the way I see it, ladies, you owe me for one jelly donut. Now get on your faces.
Oh, this is not gonna go well.
1, 2, 3, 4.
I don't care what kind of management you are, be it military or otherwise. It's never a good tactic to punish other people for someone else's mistake. It never goes well. Okay, we've got some ominous music. We're heading more into a traditional Stanley Kubrickness, and that... I don't like where this is going. What the fuck, dude? This is what I'm talking about. This shit is not...
Do it. Do it.
Don't do it. Please don't do it. Fuck.
Remember, it's just a bad dream, fat boy.
I can't believe how much I actually just hate what I just saw. I literally can't...
So you can give your heart to Jesus, but your ass belongs to the car.
It's interesting seeing every single technique he uses to try and get these guys to be okay with killing people. He throws every single trick in the book at them to achieve it, to make them mentally okay with killing people. Which I'm guessing is overall the theme of this film.
Leonard talks to his rifle.
Yeah.
I mean, all you fucks treat him like shit. Who else is he gonna talk to?
Outstanding, Private Pyle. I think we finally found something that you do well. Sir, yes, sir.
He is being reformed into something that I don't know if it's what this drill sergeant is intending.
Private Pyle, you are definitely born again hard. Hell, I may even allow you to serve as a rifleman in my beloved corps. Sir, yes, sir.
Christ, I am worried. I'm too on edge about where this is going.
The Marine Corps wants to build indestructible men. Men without fear.
Men that will just throw themselves into the firing line without a second thought.
Left shoulder! Right shoulder!
He's just fucking gone, dude. Like,
Lock and load!
whatever individuality he had is gone.
Sir, it is the private's duty to inform the senior drill instructor that Private Pyle has a full magazine and is locked and loaded, sir.
Yeah, this is not a good situation, guy. And you had your hand in play in it, making this.
What is your major malfunction, numbnuts? Didn't Mommy and Daddy show you enough attention?
I don't think this tactic's gonna work. Yep. Yeah. my palms are actually sweating up. Like, this is fucking... Ugh. Oh god, don't do it, please. Yeah, no. Yeah. Jesus Christ. I mean, I've written nothing so far, because... I mean, that was just... How long into... That was like 45 minutes of intensity. Just unadulterated intensity. Jesus Christ. Like... Okay, I need to write something down or I will forget everything I'm thinking right now. And now this I have seen parodied a lot.
A high school girl could do my job. I want to get out into the shit.
I do not think you want to go out into this war, buddy. Like, it is not... It is not a good time. Dude. I mean, it would really help, I feel. It would really help if I had a bit more knowledge about the Vietnam War, because, like I said at the top, it's incredibly rusty, my knowledge on this whole thing. But I suppose at the time of this film being made, it was very much in the consciousness. Is it weird that I'm kind of thinking of the opening of the Saving Private Ryan here? But it's like opposites. It's just like fucking firing into civilians. Like, what the fuck is he doing? Yeah, that's exactly what he's doing. If you want, suppose if you wanted to know Kubrick's view on the Vietnam War, there it is, right there.
Why should we do a story about you? Because I'm so fucking good. That ain't no shit neither.
Yeah, he's real good. Just shooting farmers. Like, this... It's feeding into the whole boot camp thing. Like, you just brainwash these people into thinking it's okay just to kill people if you're told that they are the enemy, even though it's probably never that black and white. And yeah, here we are. I'm told these are the bad guys, I will kill them, because that's what I've been broken down into thinking is the truth. That's the thing about Joker, is that he still seems to be maintaining some form of individuality even through the boot camp experience. But here's the thing, because earlier on I said, oh, all these soldiers are kind, they actually seem like good people who are being put into this system, and then they, like, a scene later, they're all beating the shit out of Par with soap, so I don't want to hold on to any convictions with this film. Like, I'm worried I'm going to regret everything I say.
You write "Born to Kill" on your helmet, and you wear a peace button. What's that supposed to be? Some kind of sick joke?
No, sir.
What is it supposed to mean?
I don't know, sir.
You don't know very much, do you?
I mean,
No,
that
sir.
You better get your head and your ass wired together, or
seems
I will
like
take a giant
the
shit on you.
theme
Yes,
of
sir.
Joker's
Answer
character.
my
He
question,
doesn't
or you'll be
really
standing tall before the man.
know what to
I think I
believe.
was trying to suggest something about the duality of man, sir.
We are here to help the Vietnamese because inside every there is an American trying to get out.
What the
It's a
fuck?
hardball world, son. We've got to try to keep our heads until this peace craze blows over.
Inside every one of these people from another country is an American. And we need to bring that American out. Like this. Oh. Christ, he's shaking like... I mean, who could blame him? He wanted this. He wanted to be in the shit, as he said, so... It's really difficult to know how to feel about a lot that's going on in this film, because on one hand, you're like... I want to empathize and sympathize with these guys who have gone through through some shithole boot camp that has broken them down completely and rebuilt them into these killers, and then told, hey, there's the enemy, point your guns that way, shoot, and don't care about the consequences or think of what you're doing as wrong or anything like that. So you kind of want to sympathize them on that level, but then at the same time, like, they're doing these horrendous things. Like some of them are purposely just killing civilians or not feeling any kind of. Christ, that's a good shot. That's a fucking great shot. That's a. Kind of can't believe what I just saw. That was such a good shot. Sorry, I derailed. That completely derailed me. Jesus. Like, you see, like, they have been completely, to go back onto what I was saying after just being transfixed by that whole shot there. Like, it's, you want to sympathize them because of the opening film showing you what they go through to get to this point. But can you then, but then how do you feel about them when they start doing these kind of horrendous things?
Do I think America belongs in Vietnam? I don't know. I belong in Vietnam. I'll tell you that.
That's a really interesting thing. Like,
American boys, 8 or 10,000
for some of these guys, they're just too happy. They're like too happy to be there. Just like all the justification they need is that, hey, we're deploying you, go kill these people.
It's sort of like they took away our freedom and gave it to the you know, if they don't want it. They'd rather be alive than free, I guess. You know, poor dumb bastards.
Oh my god.
I hate Vietnam. There's not one horse in this whole country. They don't have one horse in Vietnam. There's something basically wrong with that.
Jesus Christ, these interviews are so... We're so fucking cringe.
Vietnam, the jewel of Southeast Asia. I wanted to meet interesting and stimulating people of an ancient culture and kill them. I wanted to be the first kid on my block to get a confirmed kill.
You can just see the fucking sarcasm coming out of Joker, and they don't even realize it's sarcasm because all the other people are just so fucking like truthful about it. They're just like, yep, I'm here to kill these Vietnamese because that's what I'm here to do and I enjoy it, which is pretty much where it boils down to.
You're a senior NCO, cowboy. You're in charge. Continue on with the patrol and call in at the next checkpoint. Over.
Roger. Out.
He does not want to be in charge.
I'm squad leader.
Falling anywhere, scumbag.
He's not happy about being squad leader. He does not want this responsibility. Oof. Like, how fucking... Like, a situation is fucked up on every possible level. We're like, hey, guys just died. And their response is, oh, are you in charge then? Have fun. Christ.
I think we should change direction.
I would not want to walk through that. That is like a kill zone if I ever saw one. He's fucked. He's fucked. No way he gets away with this, right? There's no way he's gonna get... This is the thing, like, I don't know... I don't know where my sympathies should be. Maybe duality is the theme of the movie. Yeah, there it is.
We're receiving enemy sniper fire. 8-ball is down. Our position is about a half a click north of checkpoint 4. Believe possible strong enemy forces occupying buildings.
I mean, you just said you didn't see a sniper.
Tank support. Over.
Like, these disembodied voices over the radios are just like middle management admin. Like, yeah, okay. We'll see what we can do, but no promises. You're probably gonna die. Bye.
Save the ammo. Nobody fire till I tell you. Nobody.
Yeah, I mean, it's a fuck situation, but he's kind of right. Like, if you just shoot randomly, you're not going to hit anything.
Come on, you guys. We gotta go bring him back. Let's go get him. Let's
Yo.
do it. Stand down, mother. That's a direct order.
Oh God, like it's a shitty situation.
Cowboy, fuck all you assholes.
But he's right.
Going with you. I'm coming too. Okay. You all set? Yeah. Got it. Let's move out. Let's do it.
Oh, I'm nervous. Why would there only be one sniper? I don't. Why would there only be one? I feel like there's more happening here than meets the eye. Maybe I'm wrong. But he's got a shot from me right there. He could get you. Like, yeah, don't stand there, man. Don't stand there. I'm nervous about what this is going to be. I feel like there's going to be some kind of twist in what this whole thing is building into. Just a little girl who's probably... I do not know what to think about what is happening. Jesus. It's probably a good thing Joker didn't take the shot, because I feel like he would not be able to live with himself if he did. Like, the whole idea that they were going to bring in a tank to take out this kid.
My life taker, am I a heartbreaker?
Yeah, you shot up a kid, dude. Wouldn't be too proud about it. This is just fucking haunting. Like, ugh. I mean, I suppose it's a mercy at the end of the day.
Fucking hardcore.
I mean, he killed her to give her mercy, not to just to kill her for the sake of it, or out of that anger. Oh, Christ. All of this is so... It's just chilling. This whole thing. Like, the sort of moral ambiguity to everything. And yet... there are certain things that are obviously wrong. Oh, God. It's hard to put that all together. Well, there we go. That's the end. Cue the copyrighted music. Jesus Christ. I honestly don't know where to start with this. Jeez. Well, that was Full Metal Jacket. If you liked this reaction, please leave a thumbs up and maybe tell other people who like reactions that you know that this is out here on the internet. I would appreciate it quite a lot. Thanks, guys. But let's talk about this. This is this is going to be a hard one to talk about, I think. There's a lot going on here. First thing that leaps to mind just in terms of the filmmaking is that it felt like two distinct different movies, but then at the same time it felt like everything that happened once you got into the actual being in Vietnam part of the film, everything you saw in the boot camp was informed you on, like, trying to inform you on how you felt about the characters as they were introduced. And it's very complex. It's basically my main takeaway. It's incredibly complex. It's basically, this film feels like the definition of there is no such thing as black and white. You know what I mean? My main thing I want to emphasize really here is that my knowledge on the Vietnam War is very rusty. Obviously, I was born in the 90s. I'm in the UK. The Vietnam War is something I studied at school, but that was over 10 years ago now. Basically, I'm about as far removed from the Vietnam War and the history of it as you could probably get. But I know some of the fundamentals. There's a lot of debate to this day about how right or wrong the whole thing was. But that's basically my only real knowledge of it. I don't know specifics about what started it. consequences of it, all that stuff. However, I feel this film, even though it's very critical, I feel, of the Vietnam War, rather than just focusing in on the Vietnam War itself, it's more of a piece about war in general. And obviously, when this film was made, that war was very fresh in people's minds. It was still very much in the consciousness of people. There were probably people, more than likely, who were in that war who saw this film, which is fascinating to me. I would have loved to known what they would have made of this. So I don't exactly know how to break this down completely, because there's, throughout the film I was trying to home in on what I thought the theme was and what Kubrick was really wanting to get across. And I think I kind of settled upon, they say it in the movie, Joker says it, it's his duality. And I think that's why he sort of morphs into our leading character as the film goes on, because we're seeing a lot of it through his perspective and his own duality. Hence the whole, he wears a helmet saying "Born to Kill," because that's what his boot camp has drilled into him, and why he should be there over in Vietnam. And then he also wears his peace badge because he recognizes the horrors of what is going on around him. And you see that sort of seeded in the boot camp segment, where the treatment of Private Pile, where he tries his best to help him, doesn't seem to work. Everyone gangs up on him. He doesn't really know whether to commit to siding with the rest of the squad and the drill sergeant, or if he should continue to help him. Ultimately, he ends up joining in with the squad and not knowing how to handle the situation, and that whole thing carries throughout the whole film. It's interesting that you have a character who has an arc where it's not really resolved, and I think that's kind of the point. It's kind of like, there is no resolution to this. There is no black and white to this whole situation. It's all grey. I feel like this is probably the film's covered thus far. It's really getting into the nitty-gritty of right and wrong, how to respond to wrong when you see it, and then what is right in a wrong situation, which is just a whole other kettle of fish. But let's try and go through the film bit by bit and see where we go, because ultimately my biggest takeaway is I feel like this is a film I will need to watch again to really get all of it. Like, I feel like there's a lot that I probably missed. There's a lot that would impact me more on a second viewing. Like, I always get this when I watch a film. If I watch it for a second time, knowing what the structure of the film is helps me emotionally invest a bit more into what's going on, and a bit more I can see what the filmmaker's really going for on a second viewing. I feel that's probably the same for everyone, but I just feel like it's worth noting before we go through this. So, kicking off with the boot camp stuff, something I found really fascinating about that whole segment is that there isn't really a lead character. We've got the drill sergeant who's got all the dialogue, more or less, but he's not really the lead character. The squad as an entity is the leading character, even though we don't really get to see them as individuals as such. We're really being trained in that whole thing to be seeing them as a group of people, as a group of individuals, rather than looking at them as 1, 2, 3 individual. Other than Pyle. Pyle's the only one we really sort of see separated from the group. He's clearly trying to get us, the viewers, to sort of see what everyone, not just one individual, because it had the opening bootcamp segment focused in on Joker completely. We'd be able to relate to Joker throughout the whole film. We'd be able to see his flaws, his ups, his downs. But I feel like it would probably colour all the other characters we meet in Vietnam in a very particular way. Like all the characters, all the soldiers we meet in Vietnam, they do horrendous things. Like the guy in the chopper who is just shooting down civilians. Horrendous. These horrendous acts of just war crimes and murder. And but I feel the reason we're at the boot camp, we're sort of introduced to the soldiers as one unit is that we get that every soldier we see in Vietnam has been through that process. Not just Joker, we're not just seeing it from him. We're seeing the fact that all of these people were ground down to a base level and then built back up simply to believe, hey, you're here to point a gun and shoot people, and if we tell you it's okay, it's okay. At first, I was trying to see if this film was just going to criticize the act of war rather than criticizing soldiers. But I don't think this film is criticizing soldiers as much as it is criticizing, at least at the time of the making of this film and the time period in which it's taking place in. It's criticizing how these sort of young people are taken, broken down, and, like I said in the reaction, basically brainwashed into thinking a very particular thing. And that's kind of what I get from the boot camp. But the whole pile aspect of the boot camp, it's a very deliberate way of showing how someone came in who was probably not suited for this world, and this shouldn't be there. Basically, he is someone who should not be there. He is broken down and dehumanized into something else that is so far from where he started, and ultimately ends in his death and of just an outrage of violence. It would take a far smarter person than me to break all of that down, but that's what I'm getting from it. It's just all about dehumanizing someone who was a complete innocent, taking them into a system where they should not be, and morphing them into something they should never have been. It's just a tragedy, basically, but I feel all of that informs everything that happens when we actually get into Vietnam, because you're not seeing all these other soldiers who are basically what system was trying to turn Pyle into, but ultimately failed. But this is the success, if you can call it that you've turned all these young people into contradictory, nearly monsters. And because we're shown the whole boot camp stuff, you, like I was saying in the reaction, you don't know where your sympathies are, because you feel for these guys because they've been told into thinking what they're doing is the right thing to be doing. But ultimately, from what little I know about the Vietnam War in particular, is should they even be there in the first place? And like I say, this is where it would really help if I knew a bit more about this particular war. But I feel like the grander picture here is it right to train people in such a way that they lose all empathy and moral compass, as long as they point their gun at the person that you're being told to shoot and shoot, basically. There was an interesting moment as well when we were over in Vietnam. It's not really ever brought up again, but I thought it was a really interesting sort of undercurrent thing that was thrown in. The whole idea of what happens when these guys are sent home. Obviously, this film doesn't deal with that whole thing, because there are other films, there are TV shows, there's all sorts of things that deal with the idea of what does a soldier do when they return to normality as a civilian. That's a whole other thing. That's a whole other book. And it was nice that this film sort of touched on that in a way that was kind of haunting. That these guys are like, well, one of them even directly says, all this guy needs is someone to keep throwing grenades at him and he'll be fine. Which is kind of a terrifying thought, is that what is he going to do when he returns to a civilian life? He's probably not going to be able to handle it very well. And where does the blame with that lie? Does it lie with him? Does it lie with the system? Does it lie with the fact this war? Like, it just throws up a lot of questions, which I think is maybe the point of the film overall, is to challenge you and me. Like, challenge the audience to think more than you probably would, because I feel like the Vietnam War in particular, people had very hard-line opinions about it. They were either very, like, completely against it or for it, one way or the other. That's one way, but also I think there were a lot of people who sort of had a hatred for the soldiers who fought in that war because they went along with it. And I think this film tries to demonstrate that the people who held that opinion probably didn't understand what those people went through to get to that point, which I think is what this film is going for. Again, this film is very complicated and it weaves themes and ideas through it masterfully, but there's a lot going on, and like I say, I don't feel one watch does what this film is trying to do justice. So I mean, that's kind of my biggest takeaway, honestly. In terms of filmmaking, I mean, Stanley Kubrick is a master of what he does. Everyone knows that. Was kind of taken aback by how not like his other films this is. Like I say, I've seen 2001, I've seen The Shining bunch. Both of those films have very kind of similar camera work and use of sound. There's not that much of that here, which is I kind of expected that he'd have a completely different style to this. It feels like he knew that his normal way of making a film, at least from films that I've seen and I know of, that his normal style wouldn't quite work. Like because the whole idea here is to frame it in such a way that isn't surreal, and a lot of his work has a kind of surreal feeling to it. The whole point of this film is to ground it in complete reality and to be as honest and truthful as he sees it to be. And so we only really get a few little moments of his more stylized filmmaking, right? Like the uses in the boot camp with the sort of droning sound effects, and like the build up to the moment where Pyle's fate happens, and then also at the very end where the reveal of the sniper just being just a young woman who's probably only there defending herself from her point of view, because she probably sees these soldiers as just a threat. We don't actually know whether she's an actual combatant as such, or if she is just a civilian who happens to have a gun and sees the American military as a threat. That is completely thrown up in the air. We don't know. Which is kind of the terrifying thing about war in general, and how it can take people, mold people into things that they probably weren't. But those are really the only times we get a sense of the sort of what I would associate with the more traditional Kubrick way of filmmaking, where there's like a weird sound effects or sort of I don't want to say off camera work, but sort of an abstract sort of use of the camera in some way. But like I say, I do think that this film is just an absolute masterclass in what it's doing. It certainly challenged me in a lot of ways and got me thinking. I mean, I not to sound too pretentious or anything, but I often find myself going down spiraling thoughts of like right and wrong and stuff for no good reason. Like I'm not a soldier. I've not fought in a war. I don't think any part of my life has been really steeped in any kind of like controversy or conflict or anything like that, thankfully. But I often do find myself going down those sort of thought spirals, and this film certainly tapped into that quite a lot successfully. And I think really that is my biggest takeaway upon first viewing, for just having watched it, that this film is there to challenge an audience on their thoughts of right, wrong, how to handle sort of these no-win situations in some cases. Yeah, it is a moral compass film. I also get a sense that there's probably a chance, much like this is going to sound like a weird and comparison, but I feel like a lot of people see Scarface and they take completely the wrong message from that film. Like, so many people watch that film and they're like, oh yeah, it'd be so cool to be this badass drug dealer who has money and a tiger and sports cars and all that, and yet they conveniently seem to forget that he dies at the end because of his own rage and hubris, and like they seem to completely ignore that part of the film, right? Like, I feel like there is maybe an element here with this film that some people might take the wrong message from it, if that makes sense. Like, I don't know, I don't want to speak for people, but I feel like there's a chance that a similar thing might happen with this film. I might be completely wrong about that, but I feel like there may be an element of where some people might see certain things as a glorification, where actually it's kind of a criticism. I don't know, but I feel like that might be a thing. That might be a whole other discussion, to be fair. But in terms of this film, Full Metal Jacket, Stanley Kubrick's Full Metal Jacket, I think this is incredible. I think it's got a wonderful way of telling its story and getting its points across. And I'm sure there is some debate about its themes and stuff, which is a good thing. I feel like art should cause debate and discussion. And I feel like this is one of those films that completely leans into that. The whole point of it is to get people talking and to talk about these very real issues. So I think it succeeds at that. So in terms of rating, I mean, it's high. It's weird to say I enjoyed this movie because it's so steeped in real darkness that to say you enjoy it feels almost wrong. But I suppose I respect it is maybe a more accurate way, but no, but I enjoyed it. I enjoy films that are unafraid of tackling a subject matter in a very honest way, and I feel that's ultimately what this film does. Like a 9.8 out of 10, I feel like. That's where I come in on it. I feel it might even go higher on a second viewing, and it came very close to getting me. Like I've said this in other videos, I'm reserving a 10 out of 10 if a film can actually physically make me cry. That, or like emote in a very impulsive, I cannot control this kind of way, which this film didn't do. So based on that very hard line, I can't give this a 10 out of 10, but this came fucking close. I could feel it, like an emotional welling, especially towards the end where you just sort of start putting the pieces together of how that situation comes to be. I could definitely feel it. So a 9.8 is, I feel, where I'm going to set on this. Thank you for watching this video, guys. If you liked it, please leave a thumbs up. I very much appreciate it. It will help this channel, help this video out a lot. And if you really liked the video, please do subscribe and you won't miss any future videos. And please do leave a comment down below. Let me know what you get from this film. I'd be fascinated to hear what other people take from this film and how it impacted them, what they see in the characters and how they're portrayed. I would really be interested to hear what you guys have to say about it. But other than that, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will catch you on the next one.